All right. Thank you to everyone who has joined us here today for our MS Entrepreneurship Student Ambassador webinar for February 2026. My name is Brian Brinkman. I oversee recruitment and advising for the MS Entrepreneurship program here at CU Denver. I'm very excited to talk with you all today about our program, about our application, about scholarship opportunities that we offer, about some of the experiential education opportunities that we offer, as well as to answer any questions you may have about our program. I'm also extremely excited to be joined by one of our current students, a standout student in our program, Charles Welch Jr. Charles, how are you doing here today? Thank you so much for joining. How's everything going?
It's going great, Brian. Thank you very much for that introduction, and I'm glad to participate and tell potential students about the benefits of the program.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are so appreciative of your time and your thoughts and your wisdom as you are going through the program. For anyone who is just joining us, we are going to get started here. I'm going to talk through a few things with regards to our program, have Charles share some of his thoughts as well so that he can dive into what it's like being a student and share some of those insights. For anyone who is in the room with us, we'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation. So if anything comes up that's specific to you or you'd like a little bit more information or clarity on, go ahead, write it down. We'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation. For anyone who is watching this as a recording via YouTube and you have questions, please do not hesitate. You'll see my contact information on the screen here shortly. Go ahead, send me a quick email. I'd be more than happy to set up some time to talk with you about the program, dive deeper, and if needed, we're more than happy to set you up with student ambassador calls with some of our current students so that you have some additional insight. That said, today's webinar is going to cover a quick overview of the Jake Job Center for Entrepreneurship and CU Denver at large for anyone who is unfamiliar with our institution or the center here. Charles and I are going to talk through his experience applying for our program, enrolling in our program, what it's like to be a student currently in the program. I'm going to talk a bit about the program structure, a bit about the curriculum, as well as different opportunities for you to gain credit, not just as a full master's student, but also potentially through the certificates that we offer. Talk a bit about the program goals, what we consider experiential learning, why we value that so much, and why that is so essential for our program. Some of the networking and mentorship opportunities that you guys will have at your disposal while students with us. Dive a bit into the numbers, tuition for the program as it currently stands, as well as our scholarship that we offer for any applicant. We'll dive into the application overall so you get a sense of what needs to be completed for you to be reviewed for enrollment. And then we'll hear from a couple additional students in terms of their own testimonials about the program. But before we dive into everything, I want to give Charles the floor here. He's a current student within our program. He started with us in the fall of 2025. He's deep in the heart of it right now, applying to our business pitch competitions, working really, really hard in all of our classes. Charles, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your kind of general thoughts on the program at this point in time, and why you love entrepreneurship so much.
Sure, yeah. I mean, my favorite subject is to talk about me and others. But honestly, live in Denver. I've been here since 2022, somewhere around there. I'm from Nashville, and before I became part of the program, I went to the University of Tennessee, and I got my bachelor's in commercial recreation tourism management. And then after that, I went to Belmont University, got my master in sport administration, where I was able to do different work experiences, like working with the NFL and YMCA. And so when I moved to Denver, I just wanted to do something new. Nashville's a great city, and when I moved to Denver, one thing I loved about Denver is the entrepreneurial spirit of the city itself, and that's one thing I could really tell right off the bat. And so one reason I was thinking about going to school beforehand, like going back just to sharpen myself up. But like the previous spring of 26, there was no, it's 26 now. 25, sorry.
25, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a year flip. But around that time, like I was in the SaaS industry. I got laid off, and I decided to take a bet on myself. And my bet was my entrepreneurial spirit. And I've always loved startups, new businesses, new thoughts, new trends, like try to put things together and implement them. And when I was doing research, I saw the CU Denver program, and I actually saw that there's has some bona fides to it, if that makes any sense. Has some real structure, some real things that I was willing to, because getting an education is a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice that comes with benefits and payoffs at the end of it, and that's why I joined the program because it seemed like it would be worth it, and I've enjoyed it.
I love that. And that notion of sacrifice is definitely something I think it's a really valuable thing for students to think about right now. It's something we try to take into account, and we'll talk about here as we move into the program. Um, Going back to school, it is taking a bet on yourself. Going back to school is also a sacrifice of time and energy. It requires a lot of focus. And one thing we'll share with you all, and Charles, I'd love to hear your thoughts as we go through this, is what we're trying to do with this program is meet students where they are. So obviously, entrepreneurship is one of those fields that you can't really clock into, you can't really clock out of. You just are. You're an entrepreneur or you're not. That is kind of just one of those things that you either have that drive that until you reach that level of success, and then okay, now what's the next challenge? That energy, that drive is such a specific and unique thing for a lot of students. And so as a result, we have a lot of students who are at different points in their career, have different responsibilities, but are really focused right now on going back to school. And going back to school offers you the opportunity to not only learn, but it offers you the opportunity to really kind of balance your schedule in a unique way. And we try to facilitate a program that allows you to lead the life that you're currently living, professionally, personally, with where you're hoping to go long term. And so we'll talk a bit about that. But I appreciate your intro, and just looking through. I was checking your progress and where we're thinking about going, and we're looking at maybe spring 27 is the graduation date for you with another master's degree. So, and we'll talk about the maybe part of it because that is an important caveat to our overall program in terms of the flexibility that we offer. But it's cool to think that you started in fall of 25, and there's a chance that a year from now you could be in position ready to graduate. That's something to be accomplished.
Yes, I mean it really is. I mean, and like you said, like beforehand, the program is very flexible, so I enjoy that aspect. But while I've been even in the short time of me being involved with classes and different sessions and different opportunities, I've really had a chance to network with other entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs aren't in just one field, like you were saying before. It's not something you just you pick up at 8 and you drop off at 5 and you just you go about your day. Being an
Sure.
entrepreneur is something that is a constant, and it's nice to be around other people who have that same belief in themselves and belief in others and belief in possibilities. It's very, in a way, better like a term. It's very addictive, to be around others who want the best out of everything.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's dive in here. I want to give you guys a quick overview of CU Denver at large, the Jake Jab Center, and then we'll kind of dive into the program specifically. So, CU Denver, if you're thinking about it, if you're from Colorado, I'm guessing you know of CU Denver. If you're not from Colorado, you are probably familiar with CU Boulder as the main campus for the CU system. Just about 30 minutes drive from where I sit right now. CU Denver is the Denver-based campus, offers students the opportunity to take University of Colorado level courses in the heart of downtown Denver. We are the only premier urban research campus located in the heart of the city. We got DU in Denver as well. They are a great university. They are also a little bit further south, outside of the main city center. We are an ASCSB accredited university, top 5% business school in the world. We are an incredibly diverse research university here in Colorado. 49% of our first year students are first generation college students. 42% are of the total student body are students of color. 8% of students are either active duty military personnel or veterans, and 7% of CU Denver students are international students. One of the coolest things about going to school here is not only are you in the heart of Denver, but you are really going to school with kind of a sampling of the world's population in a lot of ways. The student body here is not only diverse, but also non-traditional in a very cool way. A lot of people midway through their careers coming back to school, a lot of first-generation students. So not only are you learning a lot from an academic standpoint, but you're also learning a lot just because of the people that you are interacting with and stepping out of any perceived comfort zones and really understanding a wide array of diverse opinions on all subjects. According to U.S. News and World Report, Denver is ranked in 2020 as the number 2 best place to live and the number 6 best place to start a business. Entrepreneurship, as Charles noted, is in the blood here in Denver. It is a huge part of what makes this city run, and the 300 days of sunshine, the moderately competitive sports teams, all of that helps to make people want to stay here. The outdoor activities, all that sort of stuff. It's a good place to be. The Jake Jabs Center. We are a entrepreneurship academic center here in the CU Denver Business School. We were founded in 1996 as the Bard Center, but then renamed in 2013 following a $12 million gift from Jake Jabs to fund entrepreneurship studies here on campus. We were founded to be an academic department, a research center with the goal of fostering entrepreneurship at CU Denver. We do this by developing local relationships with local business leaders, which provide support and opportunities for entrepreneurship students. We offer classes, we offer degrees, and we offer the climb, which is and other experiential events that are there to drive forward your entrepreneurship studies. The classes, as we'll talk about, the program, as we'll talk about, is all designed to help you grow as an entrepreneur. The experiential activities, the mentorships, the internships, that's all really to take you to that next level, which we'll talk about. And then quickly, I would say take a quick screenshot of this just so you have my contact information. My name is Brian Brinkman. I oversee recruitment and advising for the Jake Jabs Center for Entrepreneurship. I've been working in both undergrad and graduate recruitment and advising since the mid-2010s. I've worked with students going overseas. I've worked with students coming from overseas. I've worked with students from an advising standpoint as they're going through their first programs. And then I've helped build the recruitment and advising structure here at the Jake Jabs Center. All my contact info is on the page here. Go ahead and take a quick pick of that so that you have it on file in case you have questions. All right. So let's dive into an overview of the program, and I want to get Charles' thoughts here on various aspects of it so that you guys hear not just from me and the sales pitch from me, but also what is it like for a student who's actually going through this. So quickly here, the program is a customizable 30-credit curriculum. This allows you to choose any 10 courses in entrepreneurship that align with your interests, goals, and knowledge gaps. And when I say any, I mean any. There are no prerequisites. I will work with you from an advising standpoint to build out a degree plan for you. I'll give you some advice, some insights, some suggestions, but at the end of the day, it is your decision as a student what classes you take, in what order, how many you take, so on and so forth. We can talk about all of that in individualized degree plans, but I do just want to hammer it home that this is something you guys as students ultimately customize. We have classes in small business accounting, leadership, business development, mission-driven entrepreneurship, marketing, a ton of other options. Acquisition is a new one. AI is a new one. Online sales is another one. Tech strategies, all this sort of stuff to give you a full, well-rounded view of what it means to be an entrepreneur. You can also take part while you're in the program in events like the Climb, the Rep Bridges Venture Fund, mentorship opportunities that we can set up with local entrepreneurs, as well as taking internships for credit. Charles, I want to ask you the flexibility side of things. That is a huge, huge component of the program. How does that affect you as a student when you're planning out upcoming semesters and thinking about what classes to take, so on and so forth?
Yeah, definitely. The flexibility definitely played a large part into me joining the program because, when I was an undergrad, I had tons of time to do, to just focus on school, and life hadn't caught up and built up. Now I have a lot of, like you're saying before, there's life responsibilities, the older you get. And I really do enjoy the fact that I can, there's some online courses, and then there's some in class. Like this semester, I'm taking 620, I think,
Mhm.
with NP. Sorry, sometimes the codes of the classes. I know what class I'm in. But like that's in person. But last semester I had two online classes,
Mm,
and it really did give me the ability to fit around my schedule, and I really enjoyed that.
I like that. When you think about the online versus in-person classes, is there any noticeable difference that you see that impacts how the classes are taken by you or how you learn?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, if you're doing anything online, like a class, or if you work online, it takes a lot more, a little bit more dedication, sort of dedication with on anything online because it's all on you. And then in person, it's still on you, but there's I feel like there's a better sense of camaraderie. People,
Okay.
just that natural, just meeting and networking and getting to know people that are around you. But you can still meet people online. But like I said before, it's that flexibility of thought and opportunity between two.
Love that. Love that. And yeah, for anyone who's joining us, we're just talking right now about the flexibility of our program. We're talking about the online versus in-person course nature. As just a reminder, you all are, you have the flexibility and the freedom to select classes that you want to take when you want to take them. We'll talk a little bit about kind of that process as we go through here. But the goal is to put you in a position where if you really like online classes, you have the ability to do that. If you want a mix of in-person versus online, you have the ability to do that. The goal then is how do we not only focus on those classes, but then also build out the experiential side to really make the program feel entrepreneurial rather than just a bunch of business courses. So, quick addition here about our overall program structure. So, like I said, customizable 30 credit, take any classes that you choose. The one caveat there is the method and the timing is to be determined. So, that's part of the reason I am in touch with students all the time about this sort of stuff. Is sometimes an in person class is at a time that doesn't quite work for you. So, then we examine other opportunities for online courses that may work really well. Similarly, getting feedback from students of, hey, I liked that class, but I think it would work better in an in-person format, or I think it should go from online or from in-person to online. All of that sort of feedback is very helpful for us as we review courses every March and August and then update them for the upcoming semester. It's a very stackable program. So if you are coming to us and you have the interest in entrepreneurship, but the skill set in marketing or the skill set in engineering or the skill set in architecture, across the board, a lot of different options, you can very easily, and we can facilitate very easy dual degree opportunities. You can also take just 3 courses within our program and then add those as a certificate to other courses you're taking. So the university model is really designed where you can take what you need to be a master in a specific subject, but then adding additional certifications and classes on to fulfill those overall credits you require. That's something we try to maximize as much as possible. The Climb and internships and mentorships, another good note for experiential opportunities that really complement the overall academic work that you're doing. And then we have dual degree options. Our initial one was with information systems. We have since expanded to one with international business, one with the MBA, one with bioengineering. We're working on one right now, with the architecture program. There's a lot of different opportunities for students to get a dual degree with us that allows them the ability to maximize not only the skill sets that they have in their passion area, but then build that out into a sustainable model. Um, and then for any undergraduate students who are watching, there's a 4+1 option where you can cut off 2 classes at the grad level, take those at the undergraduate level, and then graduate with your master's in just 2 semesters. If this applies to you as an undergraduate student, do not hesitate. Please go ahead very quickly, send me an email and we can talk. And then from a certificate standpoint, I was talking about this in terms of the stackable nature. So 3 classes equals 1 certificate. These can be earned at the undergraduate and graduate level, and this really emphasizes the trialability nature of our program. So you're not required to be registered in a master's program to take these. You take 3 grad level entrepreneurship courses, you automatically get that certificate. This allows electives, which all of our entire program is elective based. Those electives can really provide avenues for students to focus on what they want to study while also getting the business related experience that they want. And then just a quick reiteration from a curriculum standpoint, courses like concept development and business model development and planning allow you to build out initial concepts, build those then out into a full business plan, focusing on AI and tech, leadership, acquisition, tech skills. These are all essential skill sets that students need to be successful as entrepreneurs. We offer study abroad options, currently 2 options, one to Cuba, one to Barcelona. But any business related study abroad program you want to go on, we can build the case for approval for you on. No prerequisites, once again, from a designation standpoint, we are really appealing to working professionals who are looking for a self-paced program that has online, hybrid, and in-person options, giving you maximum flexibility. And most people complete the program within 1 to 2, 1 to 3 years. The max allowed is 5 years. And then I want to talk just, why would a student consider this program? And Charles, I want to hear from you on this slide as well, because I think this is really the core of, the decision you're making right now as a student is I want to go back to school. I'm looking at this program. What's going on with entrepreneurship? Is that a real subject that I'm studying? How do I learn how to be an entrepreneur? We have essentially 5 reasons why we think that students would want to do this. The exclusivity is a big one. We are currently the only MS in entrepreneurship in Colorado. I'm guessing more programs are going to launch MS in entrepreneurships in Colorado. We just have ownership over the degree at this point in time. We're also the only MS in entrepreneurship up and down the Front Range. There are entrepreneurship centers and other entrepreneurship courses and other fantastic universities. But if you want that MS, we are the option that you have in this area. Affordability. So from a tuition standpoint, students are getting the opportunity to get a degree for less than $50,000 at the graduate level, regardless of residency. We do deliberately subsidize our tuition for out-of-state and international students so that everyone is paying what we consider a fair price. The flexibility, classes being offered both online, in person, and hybrid, plus the fact that you get to build your own curriculum. The experiential side of things, you get to go beyond the classroom to learn by doing really hands-on learning experiences. And then a mindset shift. That's a huge thing we're focused on. How do you create growth with minimal resources? And this is something that even if you don't ever start a business of your own, this is an essential skill set to have that will benefit you as you move forward in your overall career. Charles, plainly, why did you choose CU Denver's MS Entrepreneurship Program? Why would you say that someone else should?
Well, like I was saying at the beginning, you know, education is a bet on yourself. And with any bet, you have to put, you have to wager on yourself. You have to put your resources into it. And so I knew, like, what if I was going back to school, I wanted to make sure that my time, energy, and effort we're going to be we're going to be in my best position, you know. And so when I research the school, and then also when I talk to you, Brian, he has not paid me at all to say anything that I've said. Not even a free pizza. We'll talk about that later. But honestly, I felt a synergy with what the program was trying to instill in the students and people coming through, and what I wanted. Because that's what it's all about. If you're a student, anyone on this call, it's about what you want. It's not about what anyone else wants. Going back to school is a sacrifice, and so this is all about you. And I'm sure that you'll do your own research, and you'll probably be like, "Oh, who is this person telling me to go to school?" But it's one of the best decisions that you'll make. And like I said before, this program is very entrepreneurial. It's the only entrepreneurial program in Colorado. What's more entrepreneurial than that? So there's a lot of skills and knowledge, and just also just confidence that you will build being with the program.
I love that. And for you, we've talked about the no prerequisites aspect and just being able to dive in. What are some of the classes that you've really enjoyed, since you've made the decision to join the program? And how does the fact that you get to really pick and choose your classes at will impact your overall degree planning and your overall approach to the program?
Sure, yeah. So, my very first class I took, joined the program in fall of last year, took a leadership course, and that was actually really pivotal. I would recommend people take that first. You know, you can do whatever you want, but it was really good to just knowing more about what my style of leadership, interacting with people, and also how to build from that, and seeing real world examples, and just being able to connect things that like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense why that company did that, or why this person, the entrepreneur, either in the profit, nonprofit space, social, political, whatever it is, why they do things, and like how to get people to follow you with your vision. And I've really enjoyed that. And then this semester, right now, I'm taking the strategizing a startup, like you mentioned beforehand, and it's interesting to be able to take your concept and rip it apart, and then actually see if it's viable. I just took the
Yeah.
viability class as well, a feasibility class, excuse me, and that it actually gives you more confidence. It might be scary for someone to, you know, take an idea of yours, an idea that you have, and rip it apart. But when you do that, you actually could turn it into a concept. And concepts, that's where businesses come from. So it actually gives you like a stronger sense of yourself. And so I've really enjoyed it so far, and I look forward to more.
I love that. And yeah, the one of the core classes that we have students take, or we encourage students to take, is ENTP 6842, which you're talking about, which is idea validation and concept development, which the entire goal of that class is to put students in a position where they can say, okay, I have this idea. I'm very passionate about this idea. I've told family and friends, they're passionate about this idea, but the idea is just an idea still. So, is the idea something that can be validated and built out into a business? And we try to get students to remove that kind of emotionality that comes from coming up with an idea. It takes a lot of courage to come up with an idea and present it to other people. But that next step, as you are going through right now, of, okay, I've told people this is my idea, I'm owning it. Can this idea take off? Can it make money? Can I turn this into something? That is a much kind of colder experience. That is not the emotional fun, like, oh my God, this thing works in my head. It's going to be amazing. And oh my goodness, like friends and family all seem to like it. This is a, can this make money? And that process can, if not done properly, can lead to challenges for people, because they can be in a position where they've followed a passion they believe in, but financially the structure is not there, or the market is already saturated, or whatever it may be, and putting yourself in a position where you then look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I have a great idea, but I don't think that the idea can actually turn into a business. It's time to move on or it's time to tweak it. That is something that we try to really ingrain with students because I think that that allows you the opportunity to actually follow a passion that you really, that you can turn into something. Do you agree with kind of that approach or that kind of that viewpoint?
Yeah, of course. I mean, actually, I was sitting there thinking about one of the most important words that you'll hear, and kind of what Brian was alluding to, is the word pivot.
Mm.
And pivot is one of those things where you have to be able to look at something like no matter what it is, either a business concept or going back to school, or even are you going to have a burrito or are you going to have like, Chinese food? You want to be able to have that confidence in your ability to move quick on what you want to do. And that's one thing that I've already new, but in this program, it really makes you know, like, if something's working, do it. If something's not working, figure out why it's not working, and then move off of it as fast as possible so that you have more time. You have more time, more energy, more focus, more money, more people to help you in your final push and dreams that you actually came to the program for.
One thing I always tell students, and what you're talking about it brilliantly here, is if you invest in the program, it's essentially as if you've invested into a business concept that you have. And the only difference is what happens down the road. If you invest in that business concept without going back to school, there's a great chance that you will make money and you will look at anyone who went back to school and be like, I got a head start, I did this, and everything was successful. But the percentage of success there is very, very low. And we want to raise that percentage of success because the people that don't go to school, pursue an idea, it's a very, very small percentage of people. What we ultimately see is people who go back to school, they get not only the skill sets to, like you're saying, analyze their business, analyze what they're doing, and see if it's right or if it needs to pivot. But even if someone never launches the business concept that they work through within our program, they're still graduating with a master's degree in entrepreneurship, which is essentially a small business MBA. So you're still allowing yourself the opportunity to have something really positive come out of this experience of analyzing and validating this business concept. And even if that business it never sees the light of day, that money is not lost. You've invested it in your education and in skill sets. Whereas if you don't go the school route, you launch a business and it's not successful, you don't have the business now and you don't have that degree to really back up that there was success. So it's a lot of money that's thrown at something that doesn't work out. So it's something I just always encourage students to think about because in all reality, you can do our program very, very quickly, allowing yourself the opportunity to utilize the resources here and then move on. And moving on is into some of our program goals and our learning outcomes that we really consider. There are 6 of them. We want students to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset. We ultimately want students to have the ability to be flexible, to be innovative, to be thinking in a very lean model. That is a huge, huge focus for us. We want them to also communicate effectively. It is one thing to say, I got this great idea and oh man, I just can't put it into words, but like you got to just understand how great of an idea this is and your passion rings true, but nobody understands what you're saying. It's another thing to say, I've got this great idea and here's reason A, B, and C why you should be excited about this idea, allowing the other person then that opportunity to say, that works for me, or that's not really for me, but I actually know someone I should have you talk to. That communication step is really important. Lead entrepreneurially. So what this ultimately means is leading with an open mind, leading in an innovative mindset as well, leading by thinking about lean skill sets, running the business with small overhead so you put yourself in a position where you and your small team can get a ton done effectively. We want students to be mission driven. We want them to really think about the impact of their organization on the broader world. We want them to capitalize on innovation. There's a ton of innovative options here. When I started working for this department, ChatGPT was not in existence. When ChatGPT was introduced, our department and the entire university at large, and I'm sure every other university in America said, no, 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 nobody can be on ChatGPT. It's cheating. There's no way that you're going to be learning. This is a huge affront to the education system. Now, just over 3 years later, ChatGPT AI tools are embedded within programs because the programs realize that innovation is key here. You need to know how to use this to best launch your own business. So we've embraced it. We encourage all students to embrace it. And then going beyond just theory, I'm going to talk about it on the next slide, but this is a huge part of why we are so focused on experiential learning. A lot of programs, even at the graduate level, can be learned out of a book, can be taught out of a book, can be focused on in a theoretical mindset, not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship you can learn about, but then you have to really do to really learn. So we'll talk about that in a second. But Charles, you're 2 semesters into the program at this point in time. What would you say are your larger goals, and have you achieved any of your initial goals at this point in time? Are you still working towards them? Where are you at in all of that?
Sure. Well, besides taking over the world and other people to take it over with me, um, my overall larger goals. Do you mean like why I joined the program? My overall large goal?
Yeah, and like what you want to do with the program as you're going through it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, uh, like I said before, you know, or I didn't say it. I actually had I have a concept that
Yeah,
was, that was with that kind of developed in my head. First it was an idea, then over time it kind of became a concept, but I put it off to the shelf, put it on my mental shelf, and and like I said before, when I decided to go back to school, this concept, I'm pretty sure there's other people on this call or listen to this video have an idea that just nags them. That's like, oh man, like if I just, like I hope no one does this because I think it's really good, even though you want other people to try to do that thing to make sure
yeah,
there's, market viability. Of validity. You'll find out about that when you join the program. But I want to learn how to make my concept. I'll give a free marketing publicity here. A sports rec. I want to know how to make myself attractive to investors, to future employees, to the market. That's what my larger goal was to come out, and I want to be able to, be dynamite
yeah.
with whatever I'm trying to accomplish. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be setting off explosions everywhere, but I want to be able to know how to do it and why things are happening. Instead of being blindsided, like you were saying earlier, Brian, there are people who are successful who don't go to school, and they still find success, but there's a lot of failing because they don't know why things are happening, or should they pivot, or should they sit in this and like, oh, it's a good idea, I'm going to sit here and not let anything happen, or I'm not going to do anything because I know this is a good idea, instead of having that, I guess, along with the experience knowledge, but also institutional knowledge of being able, having that confidence of whatever you're going to attempt. This will work. This is a tried and true method. Now you can deviate from that and do other things, but you know what the core of everything is. And so that's why, that's my overall. I feel like I'm ranting a little bit, but
No,
that's what my overall larger goal is. Just like anyone that's that's in the program, that's been through the program, or even people who are thinking about being part of the program. You want to be the one calling the shots in your own life and your own either profit or non-profitability. So why not give yourself all the tools to be able to do it?
I love that. Um, yeah, and that's a huge thing is putting yourself in a position where the tools in entrepreneurship can feel amorphous from time to time. It can feel like I know what point A is, I know what point B is, but I don't know how to get there. And the goal here for our program is teaching you how to get there in a lot of ways, which is often an ever changing route. depending on what business, depending on your knowledge of the industry, depending on what it takes to make this successful. And so we want to put students in as many positions as possible, which is a huge reason why we're so focused on experiential education.
Can,
This is,
can I say something, Brian?
yeah, please,
And
please.
just to add on the thought,
Yeah,
the entrepreneur who doesn't go to school, yeah, they might make it, but they know to make it, who do they usually hire? People who have degrees and the understanding to help them. So why not be that person? So then
that's very
you
true.
already have you're in front of the race at the very start of it. That's all I
That's a
want.
good point. No, that's a very good point. Thank you for sharing that. Um, one of the things that we try to focus on is the process of learning through experience, learning through reflection on doing. Um, one of the challenges here, and I think with entrepreneurship at large, is that most people who attempt the skill sets required to be a successful entrepreneur are not very good at it the first times that they do it. And that is not a shot at anyone. That is just the reality of what we're talking about here. A lot of this is a balance between risk taking and sales and innovation and in the moment pivot and really being a people person. And all that stuff together in individual moments can be very, very challenging. And so we try to put students in the position we would rather have a student fail at pitching an investor repeatedly than, you know, never try it at all. The goal is that you put yourself in a position where you are trying these things out, you are testing out these ideas to until you become more comfortable and more successful at them. Um, we want students to get real feedback. So we want students to have mentors that can hear where they're at, can encourage them, but can also offer them constructive criticism. We want students to be in a position where they are up in front of people or in public sharing ideas, sharing their beliefs, and then taking critiques back and being able to take that all in as in a positive way and really move forward, knowing how to improve step by step. We want students to really utilize things like networking and internships to gain credit and to expand their overall knowledge. And we want them to compete in our events like the Climb, work in our student clubs like the Rep Bridges Venture Fund, and then additional mentorships with our local entrepreneurs, offering you the opportunity to, on a lot of different fronts, increase the idea of you as an entrepreneur and your concept, but also putting you in a position where you're able to really think in terms of, okay, how do I need to match this idea with this voice right now? How do I need to adjust it? Those things are really challenging, but they're also really important to learn. Um, how has experiential education impacted you overall, Charles?
Oh, I think it's been solid. I mean, I've had different experiences before I joined the program, like with University of Tennessee and Belmont University. But I don't know if other people can understand this, or maybe they do. Like going back a third time, it made me really more focused on like I need to get these certain things out of my time here, and
Yeah,
since I've been in the program, like being part of Root Bridges, learning. Learning from when it comes to how investments done and like things of that nature, participating in the climb that's coming up this semester. Actually, I did like the fall mini climb.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Which, like to Brian's point, is like one of those. It's like I was like, oh man, I think I'm good to great, but it's gonna happen. But then when I didn't get it, I wasn't dissatisfied. It was like, okay, well, I know what I need to do better.
yeah.
Like I said beforehand, it takes the thought out of the clouds and actually starts putting it on the ground to actually get some real benefit and hopefully make some money. down the road. But it's been great. I love interacting from Jake Jab's birthday, 95th birthday party. Able to meet him and other entrepreneurs in the area, because that's the one thing about it. It's not just CU Denver students or former students. There's a lot of interaction with the business community throughout Denver and all the state of Colorado. So you're getting a lot of knowledge. You're getting a lot of exposure to things that when you're sitting there wondering like, why can I be exposed to this experience? And this is an avenue. There's many avenues, but this is like one of the best avenues to be able to try to live your best NASDAQ life.
I love that. Um, all right, let's talk a bit about some of the advisory council members. So, we have a number of members on our advisory and mentorship council that work directly with students. All these people are vetted. They are some of Colorado's most recognizable entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, industry experts. People like Joel Apple, who founded OxyClean, Karen Hertz, who founded the largest gluten-free brewery in America, Sam Kumar, who works in cybersecurity. The list goes on. We have a lot of people in marketing, in IP law. We have people in web design, really putting students in a position where they're able to hear from current entrepreneurs who are either overseeing their own businesses or have launched, maybe exited their businesses, that can talk about a lot of different areas. These members serve as mentorships or as mentors, for all MS and entrepreneurship students, and they provide internship and networking opportunities for students through our events as well as a student at large. Are there any notable mentorship conversations you've had at this point in time, Charles, in the program, and any thoughts you have on the opportunity to speak with mentors either at events or outside of that?
Yeah, I've been exposed to a couple of mentors through the program that MP, who y'all get a chance to meet. Hopefully, if you make the smart decision for yourself. Um, um, but like I was able to with Dan Greiner.
Mhm, mhm.
I've been able to keep up with him. He's been very really good at just kind of like helping me format my brain a little bit more and start thinking more like have more of a CEO mindset instead
Yeah,
of because when you have an idea or concept in your head, it's just your thoughts and your drive and everything like that. But if you're actually trying to make it into a business, you have to start being able to take like the emotional baby out of your head
yeah,
and actually lay it down and have structure. So he's been great at that, and also Nam with the computer science program. He's
yeah.
been great. Everyone that I interact with in the program has been very helpful, and that's just the entrepreneurial mindset. As Hillary Clinton said, and I know some people like her, some people don't, but it takes a village. And it's not just you on an island, which can be very stressful if you try and do everything yourself. But if there's like my experience with mentors who kind of take that ease and that stress and be like, hey, there's a reason why you're stressed because let me help you do this. And it's been really instrumental in helping me.
A really good point that it takes a village, because that's something we see with a lot of students, even students that come in with a pretty fully formed idea that's been vetted. No one is going to get ahead with a small business, with a new business, unless they have people believing in them from a support standpoint, from a staffing standpoint, from a promotional standpoint, and from an investment standpoint. And we try to make sure that that is taken care of as much for students. We also have access for students to our Business Career Center, where we have advisors on campus that work exclusively with business school students. This also is an opportunity to connect you to the business community around Denver, career fairs, industry shadow days, meeting with firms. This also allows you to develop strategies to execute career goals. You can complete mock interviews, resume assistance, salary negotiations, internships, all that sort of stuff, job search if you decide to stay in Denver. So a lot of opportunities for you as a student to not only get the mentorship and internship experience, but also within the university have the Career Center work with you. Um, and then talking just a little bit here about the kind of nuts and bolts of the program. So tuition. This is currently based on 2025 to 26 academic year tuition. This will change ahead of the fall term. I don't know exactly where we're going to change to yet, but we will update you all once we have these new figures. Currently, our in-state tuition is $772 per credit hour, so about $23.16 a course. For out-of-state, and this includes international. So if anyone is an international student on the call, this includes you. You are paying a reduced rate of $927 per credit, so about $27.81 per course, bringing the estimated total cost of the program, including fees, to between $26,000 and $34,000. Very, very affordable for a small business master's degree on a large scale. I'm going to talk here in a couple of slides about scholarships to help take additional costs off of the overall tuition, but we try to keep this as fair and as approachable as possible for students. From an application standpoint, so we are currently reviewing applications for our summer 2026 and fall 2026 start dates. For all domestic students, so this includes out-of-state residents as well as Colorado residents. The application is as follows. Short answer essay questions, an updated resume, transcripts from all institutions where credit was awarded. There's no GMAT or GRE required. References in an interview are completely optional. There's an application fee of $50, but if you are an attendee here and you have not yet submitted your application, we'll get in touch because you can get your application fee waived. And then our deadlines, summer deadlines we're working through right now, fall deadlines to keep in mind. Priority is May 15th. This gives you early access to registering for classes. Domestic final deadline is July 15th, so about 6 months, 5.5 months, give or take, to get there. So, we've still got a ways to go until the fall semester begins, even still a few ways to go until the summer semester begins. But if you're thinking about applying, really easy, very straightforward, and we can work through it this way. For international students, your application is the same as a domestic application. However, there's a $75 application fee, which goes to the international credential evaluation that's required. So we take about $200 off of that. You pay CU Denver, they complete that aspect for you. You've got to complete the English language proficiency exam through either TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. You will be applying for an F1 visa. And as a result of the visa, the application deadlines are backed up compared to domestic students. So priority is March 15th. Final deadline is May 15th. I am more than happy to talk with any of you out there, international or domestic students, to work you through the application. Charles, I would just ask you quickly, is there any advice that you have for applicants?
You pretty much laid it out. Like, there's a checklist of items that you want to make sure that you get in on a timely manner. On a timely manner. And honestly, I guess the best advice that I have, besides the minutia of applying, is just honestly just do it. If you're on the call, if you're looking at school, you're mentally almost there. So it's like physically just fill out those FAFSAs, find the money, get the transcripts. Which I'll say this also is when you're pulling the transcripts and getting transferred over, is University of Colorado Denver, not Denver University. Just make sure, because it will be sitting up there and you have to keep paying transcript money. I did that like twice, so that's my advice I can give to people with everything.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna include that on our future application emails, because you're right. That can be a challenge. The dual Denver nature.
Yes.
In terms of saving money, one of the ways that we really try to encourage this for students is through our scholarships. So as a CU Denver student, you're eligible to take scholarships from any CU Denver scholarship and apply it to this program. So as long as you qualify, it can be applied to this program. We also offer a specific scholarship from the Jake Jab Center. This is for any ENTP class you take, and it can take up to $600 off the tuition, which can save about $6,000 from your total tuition. All the info about the Mordecai Scholarship is on this page. I will send this out to you if you are a current student and you are applying for classes. So don't stress about this. I just want to make sure that you all have this information on hand. And Charles, I want to share a few additional student testimonials, but I know that you are running short on time, so I want to make sure I get your thoughts here on this. You've been a student of ours for the last 6 months, give or take. What has your experience been like, and what are your thoughts as you enter kind of the midway point of your MS in Entrepreneurship program?
Oh, well, my experience so far has been everything that I expected. A lot of reading. Um, it's like people who love to read, they don't think about it. I I pick and choose, but everything I've read has been really, really informative. It's challenging, it's not just like reading a Harry Potter book and be like, oh yeah, oh, that was entertaining. This is like wow, I can see how this relates to my life. I can see how it can secure my future and how it can help other people around me. And so that's been my experience as I've gone through every moment that I participate in a class or a session or networking is I can feel myself growing with not only my competence but also my confidence. I looked those words up in the thesaurus the other day, so I had to use them. But like in all seriousness, like every interaction that I have, I can feel myself getting better, and my hope is to continue that and to move that into like as I go through the climb and other opportunities that are through CU Denver or CU Denver adjacent. I can feel myself being able to, like I said before, I might with dynamite, I might not be able to blow everything up, and move things through, but I know that I belong in that room and I can do what I want as long as I just keep doing it.
I love that. I love that. That's a fantastic way to wrap here. Let me just read quickly for everyone two testimonials from two of our recent graduates within the program. First, Mag Castillo joined the MS Entrepreneurship program while running his wedding, catering, and entertainment business. He reached a point where he needed guidance and the right tools to grow. After joining the program, he recognized his strengths and he pivoted to focus fully on the entertainment side of his business. He also realized the power of research, how it can elevate your decision making as a business owner. The program's flexibility, direct focus on the entrepreneurship made it the right fit for where he was at, where he wanted to go. The climb was one of the most valuable experiences he could have imagined. Getting the chance to refine an idea, pitch it, get real feedback from mentors and professionals who know what they're talking about made a huge difference. He plans to keep growing his entertainment business, launch new ventures along the way. And long term, he wants to keep innovating and creating things that matter, which means building businesses that reflect who he is and what he stands for. Mag graduated last spring and is doing fantastic running his entertainment business. Joey Dykman was our first graduate, spring of 2024. Our program officially launched in the fall of 2023. Since then, we have graduated 16 students. We currently have about 40 students in the program right now, so we are continuing to grow. We work with a number of students who take our programs as certificates or one-off courses or participate in our events. So the entrepreneurship department is really expanding and really growing. And as a program, we're really excited to be celebrating these students who are, our initial proofs of concept. And Joey says that one of the favorite aspects about the MS and Entrepreneurship program is the hands-on experience you get in each class. It's not just regurgitating knowledge and following the textbook. It really feels like the instructors care about you and want to foster your development through these programs. You're able to bounce ideas off fellow students and faculty members. It's a really great culture and a really great place to learn. And that is a good place for us to pause here for any questions that you guys have. Charles, are there any last thoughts you have about our program and about why people should do it?
Yeah, and closing, like I said before, this is all about you. This is about your knowledge, your future, about what you can do for your loved ones. Like, so you want to be able to vet, make sure that you're doing the right thing for yourself because this, even though it is a very low cost, it still costs something. It's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you time. And so you want to make sure that you do the right thing for yourself. And from my standpoint, just being involved with this program is one of the best things that I have done for myself ever since my gray hair started growing in.
I don't see any of it. Don't worry.
Oh,
Um,
it's a filter. It's a filter.
I appreciate that. Well,
Enjoy.
I really appreciate you joining me here, Charles, and sharing your thoughts. I appreciate everyone who's joined us and everyone who's going to be watching. We have recorded this. We're going to be posting this on YouTube. Anyone who is in attendance will get a copy of this, as well as students who couldn't make it today, so that you can all hear Charles' experience in the MS program and any thoughts you have. Please feel free, reach out to me. My contact info is on the page here. Don't hesitate to send me an email if you have questions or want to set up an appointment. Otherwise, Charles, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got some classwork for yourself, and I know that you'll be at the Climb event tomorrow. So I wish you well, and we'll look forward to seeing you here as you continue to grow as a student.
All right, Brian, thank you for inviting me and having an opportunity to talk to future classmates.
Absolutely. Thank you all. We'll see you all later.